Hey cats, what's happening? Oh, hello. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my cats. I got some fish today, so we're going to restock the pond. I don't know if, let's see if I get them up here. You might be able to see them. There they are. So I've got new channel cats, and these are going to get stocked back in the pond to take place of some of the cats that I've lost over the years. So let's take them back there and get them in the water. They are very frisky and eager to get into their new home. So I think I'll put them right over here where I can stand on the rock. Now normally what you do is you let the bag sit in there for a little bit so they can acclimate just for a little, and then we're going to release them. All right, here they are. I think there's 14 of them. So let's see what happens. Let them head out to their new home. Come on, puppies. There they go. There they go. Welcome home, cats. I actually had them triple bagged, but even at that, the bags leaked a little bit in my truck, but it was about maybe a 35-minute ride, and they did very well. And I don't see any sign of them now. They took off to explore their new home. I'm excited. Yeah, today's fish day, and it's mid-September. Well, coming on late September now. And the thing is, they don't sell the fish until this time of year, because the fish acclimate better in cooler temperatures. You know, when the water's cooler, yeah, the air's cooler. The cold nights have made the pond very chilly now, so they're going to acclimate very well in there. But I had ordered them months ago, and been waiting all this time, and finally got the email that said, "Hey, today's fish day. Come and pick up your fish." It was interesting because I didn't know what to expect, and they had a great big, like a big tanker truck, and it had different sections in it with different types of fish depending on what you ordered. And so you pulled into the parking lot, and they got your name and your order, and then they put a number on your windshield, and then you had to drive around and pull up alongside the truck, and there was people up there on top of the truck that would scoop the fish into these bags to fill your order. They had bass, they had bluegill, the channel cats that I bought. But they scooped my channel cats in one of these bags, and then they triple bagged it, tied it up, and they set it on the floor of my truck. And it was just that simple. I didn't even have to get out of the truck. I thought I was going to have to bring a 55-gallon drum of water, but they said no. Now, when I first built this pond 30 years ago, I've told you about this in other videos before, but this was a man-made pond. So we brought in a bulldozer and we scooped all the dirt and we pushed it up onto this hill. So this hill is kind of like the pond upside down. And then after the pond, it's only fed with rainwater and runoff. So That means any of the rain that hits the backyard, it'll run down and it'll come in the pond. It'll come off the hill and run into the pond. But there's no stream coming into this. And you don't really want that because this pond feeds the house with water. This is my cistern, my water source. So you don't want any pollution coming into it. It just collects rainwater. So it took a year for it, to fill up with water. And every time it rained, it'd come up a little more, come up a little more. It's a lot of clay in the bottom, so it holds water very well. And after my pond filled up, then I was ready to stock it with some fish. So I went to the fish hatchery and I got 50 bluegill, 50 bass, and 50 channel cats. Now when I bought them, they were little minnows like this. You could hold a bag up in your hand like this, and it only weighed a couple pounds because they were just little minnows. And dumped them in here, and then they just kind of made themselves home. And over the years, they've kind of adjusted. So, I certainly don't have 50 bass in here anymore. But there are bass in here, and some of them are probably the biggest one I've seen in here, I haven't fished them, is probably about 2 pounds, maybe a little more. But there are bass in here. There are smaller ones, bigger ones. Bluegill, there's a couple of nice sized bluegill in there, and then a lot of small ones. There's a lot of minnows. If you walk around the shore, you probably can't see, but there's little minnows swimming. They see you coming and they all swim away. There's a lot of minnows in the water. There goes a bunch of them right now swimming away. And those are feeder fish, so the bass will eat those, and the bluegill will eat some of those, and they like to eat bugs too. The catfish are kind of like the bottom feeders. They're the garbage men of the pond. So anything that dies, the catfish will eat, and I'm sure they'll eat live things too if they're hungry. But then, I've got the cattails back here and the tulip tree. So there's bugs, insects that fall into the water that they feed on too. Well, when I come out here to the dock, frequently, just my feet, the fish will hear that and they all come swimming. You'll see them start to gather up here because they know I'm here. This time of year, as the temperatures of the water start to cool, the fish tend to go deeper. They don't come up into the shallow as much. Excuse me. I can see some bass down there. They're not real big ones. They're maybe about 8-inch bass. Anyway, my cats would always come up here swarming around looking for something to eat, and I'd throw them stale bread and whatnot, which they were pretty happy to eat. The catfish would eat right out of your hand. You could actually reach down and pet them. They didn't like to be petted, but you could actually, feel the slimy on them, and then if they didn't like it, they'd spin around and they'd splash their tail and soak you with a spray of water. That was typical of them. Over the years, I've been losing catfish. For a long time, I was down to 8 catfish, and they were as big as my arm. They were great big things. And people say, well, did you fish? Did you fish these? No. It's just kind of like a big aquarium to me. They're like pets. So, V always liked to walk around the edge of the pond, and the fish would follow her in a big school. And she would talk to them like they could understand her and hear her, and they probably could, for all that matters. But here recently, I've been finding, in the past couple years, I'll find the skeleton of a catfish over along the edge of the woods, and where it probably died, and the raccoons dragged it out, took it over to the edge of the woods, cleaned the bones off, and left it there. So here this summer, I've only seen 2 catfish in here. Now I'm looking down, I can see one right there, and that's probably about 5 foot deep right here. I'm looking for 2 because there was 2 in here, and you know, most of them are gone. They've disappeared over the years. They died off. Well, I was a little concerned, so I looked it up on the internet, and it said that there's one of them right there, circling around. I don't see the other one though. There should be 2 of them. Their life expectancy is anywhere from 10 to 20 years. These cats that I had in here, almost 30 years old. So that's why they've been dying off. Slowly but surely. They've been slowly dying off. Oh, there's the 2 of them now. I see 1, 2. You might not be able to see them on the camera, but here's one of them coming right there. So that was my reason for restocking the cats. The bluegill, they seem to regenerate okay on their own. The bass do real well because they're voracious eaters. They're the predators of the pond. And but the catfish, and I've seen little catfish minnows in here before, but they get eaten by the bass and the bluegill or whatever. And they couldn't reproduce, they couldn't regenerate, they couldn't, you know, replace themselves. So I bought these catfish that I picked up today. They were a little bigger, you know, like they said 8 to 10 inches, somewhere in that ballpark. So hopefully the bass can't gobble them up so quickly, and I'm hoping that they do well here. Now, since I put them in the pond, I have not seen any of them anywhere. I don't know where they are, where they went. I assume they're a little deeper in the water. Maybe if they're like any other animal, they're scared to death because it's a new home for them. I don't know. Time will tell. Well, cats, thanks for watching and listening to my spiel about the catfish. One more thing before I let you go. I'll show you where my stump was. Pretty much gone. Well, it looks like the critters have been digging up my topsoil that I put in there, though. It was all nice and raked out and seeded, but they've got it all tore up, which is, you know, they tend to do that. But anyway, the stump's gone. I can mow over it now. Yay. If you liked the video, hit me with a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and continue watching my videos. And also, special thanks to Dave and LaDonna. They came up from Texas, and they were in the area. Dave plays in a band, and she reached out to me and wanted to meet me, and so yeah, I was able to meet some new people today. Good people. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, cats, we'll catch y'all later.